His name is Engineer Chukwuemeka Nwabeze, a 68-year-old Biafran war veteran from Nando community, Anambra State. He is an engineer by profession and a fish farmer by occupation. His story is a sad one, full of disappointment and abandon to rot in misery.
The chairman of the local government was here. NTA was here
after the disaster.
As the very day, of the scene of the incident, they were here until the flood from the height of this very building down. It was when he came down at the time. When they were playing.
Catfish.
So you can't stop them.
Anyway.
So to God be the glory. That's what I told my wife. She understood.
It's a pleasure to take us round, though it's a very ugly experience.
Yes.
And we hope in our little way to communicate this to the outside world.
One thing kept him strong and going: the hope of a new Biafra and the promise of Biafran ideology. This is his story.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome. Tabu Bagunando. That's it. Not too nice to meet you again in 2017.
Thank you, my dear brother.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Sorry, this is Chinedu Asogo, the BVI media person.
Oh, too nice to meet you. I've known you in sincere.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'll see you
It's
today.
a pleasure.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
We've come to identify with you and know what you're doing. We've heard a lot about you, the agricultural trends that you have been putting up, and we heard about some climatic disaster that befell you. So we decided to pay you a homage and share your experience.
Beautiful.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Meeting you.
So
nice meeting you.
let's walk in and
Be my guest.
That's real.
Hello, great elder. Please, it's a pleasure to meet you this day. We have come to identify with you, and we would like to get your profile about whom you are. So please, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
You're welcome to Abu Bagunando and Children of God Fish Farms Limited compound. My name is Engineer Christopher Nwabeze Chukwuemeka from Abu Bagunando. In my career, I read and did elect in engineering, and later changed into fish farming. 1985, I went into fish farming, and since then till now, I've been forging ahead. Done all the training that is required to be a...
We want to get your personal experience. We want to get your story. You are an elder, and it is the duty of the elders to pass their life story to the younger generation, who will now pass it down to their other generation. Like the program we have set up, that people should now come and have a platform to tell the story of their lives, of their father and their forefathers, so that in generations to come, our history will not be written away. So based on that, having said that, what are your experience like between 1966 to 1970? Because that is the hallmark of the race, Igbos. Their experience at that time could be equated only to the Holocaust of the Jews. So what are your experience like?
It's a wonderful experience. A very wonderful experience, because that time you mentioned 1966. I was with Shea Training School Umumasi in Port Harcourt under the engineering department to do electrical and electronics. And we moved on because when as a young person who was lucky to go into Shea, I believe the sky was my limit. But unfortunately, by 1967, the war began. Shea left. But when Shea was leaving, I was the one in that department. They handed me the key of that very department, which I handed over back to Mr. Nolimi as the person next to the department. And after that, I had no choice. I think I had to start walking, roaming along the street, moving like that. It was not comfortable to me. A young man who was born and brought up in Port Harcourt, then to go to the village and start roaming around. I didn't feel comfortable. So what I did was to join the army. Though it was funny, the very day I went to enroll into the army, some people were asking me to get away from that very parade line because I was too tiny and small. So I should go to my mother. Why am I here? In fact, I was bribing my way to go into the army.
You are bribing your way to...
I was bribing my way to go into Biafran army. Because it was difficult then. It's not, you don't just get up and go into Biafran army. They will look at you, your age, your academic status, all this is in question. I remember one soldier, one lance corporal, put up his cigarette on my belly, where he was trying to scare me away. But still, I wanted until I was lucky to join the line that we were recruited that very day. And after my training, I became a soldier. I was promoted to a lance corporal when I was in training. I was promoted as a lance corporal while on training because I love showing that I belong to. Whatever I do at the time, I do it very well.
You still have that Biafran spirit in you, the same drive during that time. Does that fire still on inside you? Do you have that fire inside you?
No, nobody who passed through that can allow that to die. So nobody who passed through that, because it's an idea. I don't think idea doesn't die. Except if that person didn't see it as an idea. And moreover, I have done my school set, I've done my CNDs, so I know what I was asked for. I know where I was going. I can read, I can write. I have myself for what I want. So that's no way I can die.
So what is the idea? We want to get the idea. What is the idea for Biafrans trying to be on their own?
The idea, the most important thing, everybody on earth wants freedom. Freedom is the greatest gift God gave to us. And if anybody feels that he can allow his own freedom to be tampered, then he doesn't need to live. Freedom. Even if you are hungry but you are free, it doesn't mean much. The hunger doesn't mean much. I grew to understand that there was no freedom for my people. I grew to understand that my people are not recognized as a member of the country of the name Nigeria. Stigmatization. Every place Igbo man goes in Nigeria, he is being stigmatized. Ask the person why he's doing that, they cannot give you any reason. And what are we saying? All you need to do is to look at an alternative way of getting your freedom. That experience we got to fight as a young person like me, who was 18 years old and was a lieutenant, you can imagine what it means. So what I gathered and the experience I had. If I have lost everything of my useful exuberance, what I didn't lose is my discipline in the army.
In the Biafran army.
Yes. Army is army. Soldiers are soldiers. Call it Biafra, call it Nigeria, call it Vietnam, call it America. Training, military training is the same. Our own Biafran training is more vigorous because it is a task that has to be done. Life. Somebody who is fighting just as a soldier, no. But a liberational soldier, life or death, is a different thing. In fact, the language, they call it born off all bridges. Born off all bridges. When you born off all bridges where you are going somewhere, you are going there to live or you die. And for that reason, I don't think if after passing through that way, the spirit can die. It cannot die. The only thing I'm talking is a different approach.
A different approach this time.
The different approach.
Okay, now there is this movement under the customary government administration through the due process of law, through the constitution, following it through the due process. Would you like the Biafra emancipation again, or the emancipation to come through the due process, or going back again into what you experienced before?
No. For me, I wouldn't like Biafrans to go in for war again. I will prefer dialogue. Dialogue with understanding. Dialogue with zeal. Dialogue with absolute, exclusive Iboma. Exclusive Iboma. Not hoping that to hell. But one day, I normally tell people, what we can do is, we have fought, we couldn't make it. We can be going in for dialogue and praying. The very day the Israelis were leaving Egypt, the question was, look, man, take your thing and go away. I tell people, one day will come, if Igbo man is staying in Yoruba land or Hausa man or Yoruba will come and say, Michael, what are you doing here? Are you not seeing the people that the people are going? It will one day happen.
So I hope that very soon or one day Biafrans will be free.
It is obviously going to happen. Biafra idea. After go to the map, you will see the bite of Biafra. That's that bite of Biafra in the map.
Okay. So from your opinion, you advise our youth to take it calm and follow the due process.
That is excellent. Let them not be wasting their life. There was something I was suggesting to somebody. I said, during those days they march along the way. Let them gather. Gather the Christians of the Catholic that make use of their rosary. Gather other Christians in their own system of praying. As they go along, let them be doing that very procession as praying procession. No harm, no weapon, nothing. Just peaceful procession, praying like what happened in Spain. Spain, when the Romans came to destroy the Spanish Empire, what happened? The soldiers were given 4,000 rosaries from the bishop. And they went for the rosary. After that 4,000 rosary with the decades, they marched and they crushed the Romans. So prayer, in fact, it is the ultimate. Prayer is the ultimate. As far as I'm concerned, what you cannot get by fighting, by quarreling, the easiest way of getting it is by praying.
We want to get your personal experience. We want to get your story.
I have proved myself to be a good fish farmer. For the privilege granted to me by CBN 2014, I emerged the best national fish farmer of the year. The award was given to me at Charity in Abuja 2017 by Goodluck Jonathan. And since then, I have not changed. Rather, I decided that I will make more noise in West Africa in fishing. But unfortunately, because sometimes what is feared is bad, sometimes becomes a good omen. The disaster I had 2015, 27th July, I lost almost 35 million naira of the fish that were ready for harvesting.
I'll show you. By that time, this was containing 5,000 fishes. 5,000 fishes. Grow, matured, 2-point-something kg, 2 kg.
I lost the farm, I lost the fish, I lost all the equipment. In fact, my ship wrecked in that farm, 2015, July 27th. I'm still alive, still managing fishery behind my compound, which I still have some fishes right there now. So you're welcome to my place.
Thank you so much. We facilitate with your sad experience with respect to the incident that occurred in your farm that made you to lose a lot of money and also a lot of investment. Having said that, what are your main challenges with respect to the fish pond? Because there are lots of youths out there going out looking for white-collar jobs, and from what you say, you are learned and you have certificate, but you are not a civil servant. You are self-sustaining. You are in a better position to advise our youth on how to be self-sustainable. So what are your challenges all this while through the fish pond business?
Yeah, you are right. Before I came down from Lagos to go into fishery, I prepared myself because I knew what I was coming to Anambra to do. First of all, I had my training with Institute of Oceanographic and Marine Research, Victoria Island, for fishery. And why I went for that training, so that if I come here, I can empower the young ones by teaching them all about fish. Made them to know what it contains and what it takes to be a good fish farmer. And that was why I had a training. Because you cannot train somebody if you don't have the knowledge. And that was why I first of all went for the training. And when I came down here, I started fishery program. I acquired 26 plots of land along the river, or rather a brook called Oyi in Anambra State. In that, already I was having up to 7 to 9 workers in that farm when that incident happened. I trained them. Presently, some of them are serving in different fish farms around because I can no longer go on as I was doing. My biggest challenge was how to go on again because fish farm is capital intensive. It needs expertise. It needs capital. I've gotten the expertise, but my problem is how I can go on. Going on by restructuring the farm so that those boys that I trained and the indirect workers I have, that the women that are coming to buy my fish, who don't get enough fish now to market. Those things are my concern. They still come to me asking me how far am I doing and what I have done. I will not blame the government. I have written my letter, I have written my report, I invited them to my farm, they came, they gave me a good promise that, well, you won't blame anybody for not assisting you because assistance is not by force.
Will you be able to get source for capital from private investors outside the government? Do you have any hope for that?
Yes, I think that may be more realistic because there's no bureaucracy in that. If you go in for private investors, they will be coming in for 50-50 program, where they know that if they invest, at least, why I have hope and confidence in that is that I was the best national fish farmer of the year, not because my farm was the biggest farm in Nigeria, but it was because of integrity. CBN has paid more than 5 times rebate for the loans granted to me. When they give me loan, after 6 months, I'll do my hearing, I sell and pay back. Then the CBN will come and pay 40% of the interest. So as a result of the integrity they came and made me the best national fish farmer of the year. So I believe that if I can receive private investors that can come to join with me or support me, it will be a good business. Be a good business in the sense that today, I know too well, nothing can make me to emasculate my face before my family. That integrity is still maintained.
Okay. Can you comfortably say that in the past you've gotten a loan from or an assistant somehow from the CBN? Can that happen again? Do you have hope that it can happen in this present time?
Well, I have hope, but the only thing is that CBN does not give money to any farmer direct. They sponsor or they monitor people that will give money. But the issue is that getting money from Nigeria banks is not encouraged for a farmer because their cost of interest is so high. The very one where they gave me that, where I was awardee, that is 220 billion naira, Jonathan brought out for farming, which was a single digit, 9%. It doesn't get to people. This is the kind of money that a farmer can access. You can't ask a farmer to access a loan of 36% interest. How can he make it? It is not realistic. And for that reason, I don't go for that kind of interest.
So you cannot go for loan from bank now anymore?
Well, if the bank is giving me loan on interest I can afford to pay, I won't take because I need money and take something that will make me to emasculate my face. If I can get loan of 15%, 12%, 9%, I can go for that kind of, but 36%, no. I can't go for that because I can't afford to pay it.
From what we have seen in your backyard, you have a very large fish pond right behind your backyard here. What are your expectations? Is there any room for expansion? Because every entrepreneur will always have vision of expansion. Because from where you are now, from what you said so far, is not where you have been before. You are trying to come back after your experience, after the disaster that befell your business. So what are your expectations from private investors that may have interest to invest in your business?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Good point is that very word you use, interest. When an investor or private investor comes into my farm, the important thing is that he will see that I had been a serious farmer. That if my farm is prospective, if he invests his money, he will get his money, he will get the profit, he will get the growth. In fact, presently what I have in my backyard and at my side is a kind of a catalyst for development and growth. The capital investment has been done. The only thing now is operational money to expand and get things right done. The knowledge is there, the expertise is there. What I'm looking for now is people that can come bring in the input, and then we expand with the input. They take what belongs to them, and I take what belongs to me, and we shall grow. And this will involve the youth, because by the time we start this at the last side, it will empower the youth. They will come in to learn, they will come in to work, they will come in to grow. And then the future, you know, the youth are the people, we are in the race, we have the baton. They are the people who have to have the baton. So if we do without handing the baton to them, which means we stop halfway. So there is need that people can consider coming in to invest with me. mostly private investors, because I prepare private investors because the bureaucracy with them is less. Less in the sense that they know what they are looking for. They are concerned. I am ready to go extra mile in order to go.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful time with you and to share your experience. It's a pleasure, and BVI Channel 1 will one day again come back to get more stories from you. It's a pleasure to have you.
Too nice being with you.
Thank you, sir.
Too nice being with you.
Yes. It's a pleasure, sir.
Too nice to be with you.
It's a pleasure.
It's a wonderful day. You have really made my day.
Thank you so much. Next time we'll come back again.
Be my guest.
All right, sir.
Be my guest.
All right, you can be us there.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you very much. I'll be with you.
Take care of yourself.
It's an honor to be with you.
This is BVI Channel 1. I am Associate Peters. I am reporting from the farm land, or the fish farm owned by one Biafran. Somewhere, and we want to use this opportunity to tell the world, to tell our people out there, it is time for our people to invest in agriculture. It is time for us to create wealth and job using agriculture. Bring back that your wealth home. Invest in agriculture. Our people will no longer be hungry. Food stock will be cheap and affordable for everyone. And none of our people will go to sleep without being hungry. Don't forget, a hungry man is an angry man. An angry man is a desperate man who angry. So encourage this kind of investment. This place has been very valuable like this. After investing a lot of billions, we lost over 5 billion naira just in one disaster that occurred here, and has left this place totally deserted. And the people that he employed, the workers he employed, he no longer employs them. So if you look at it, put everything together, you see the need for you to join in bringing back your wealth back home. Not just bringing it back home, but investing in agriculture. You can always reach the engineer. If you want to invest in agriculture, you can go into a train. Youths who want to go into agriculture, those who want to invest, those who want to go into fish farming, you can consult at any time, and you will be sure, rest assured, that you get the best training from one of the best, and I mean the best fish farmer. Thank you very much for watching. Continue to follow our activities online, follow us on social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to our videos for more videos. I feel like, as we Peters, I love you to the bones.